Alright guys, today we're going to re-rank every Supercross game 1 through 6. We've done this when we had Supercross 1 through 4 a couple years ago, but they've added 2 different games. My opinions have changed a little bit, and maybe I changed the ranking from the way I had it before, but we don't know how many more Supercross games Milestone plans on making. If you haven't bought in a game, or if you have bought, 1 or 2, maybe this list can help you decide on which game to buy next or which one to pick up for the very first time. So to start things off, we have Supercross 4. Supercross 4 comes in at number 6 in last place on this list because for a few different reasons. One, the tracks weren't that fun. They weren't that great. I mean, for the first few tracks were okay, but this was the year we had a bunch of races at Salt Lake City, and I know it's not Milestone's fault, but those tracks were just kind of cookie cutter, pretty similar. I mean, they had to get it done really fast, and the tracks just weren't that great. The customization was getting disappointing. We were getting the same gear selection that we've had in past games or even past MXGP games, so customization was getting more disappointing. The track editor was more disappointing as well. They weren't adding any new features to it. They were taking away features. It just wasn't progressing in the right direction. If you look back at the first track editor we got, that was way better. It was way better than what we have in this game or even in the newest game. So the track editor, not that great. The compound wasn't very good either. The compound felt kind of lazy and it just was boring, and I didn't really spend much time in it because the tracks they had there were so not fun. I mean, the motocross track, it was kind of mid. But all the Supercross tracks just weren't fun. And then there was just a bunch of wide open nothing. There wasn't anything fun to do in that compound. So the career was okay, the AI was okay, the physics were similar to what we have had, but after coming from Supercross 3, which was a great game, this was a step back. It was definitely a step back from previous games. So Supercross 4 comes in at number 6 on this list. Make sure to let me know your guys' list in the comments so we can discuss it. But yeah, Supercross 4 comes in last place. Supercross 5 comes in at number 5, and this would be the second newest game we have. The game was okay. I could have probably put it a little bit higher up on the list, but it was similar to 4, right? It was similar to 4. The physics were very, very similar, maybe a little bit better. The graphics were a little bit better. The tracks were a little bit better, but this again, these were the tracks for the year of the residency races, right? So we had 3 races at each venue, and they didn't have much time to put them together, so the tracks were very similar. And they were okay. It's not like Milestone didn't do a good job with them in the game, but the tracks just weren't the most fun because of the way they did the residencies. And again, not their fault, it's just the way it was, but tracks weren't that great. Physics were very similar. It didn't really feel like maybe a tiny improvement over the year before, but still very similar. The career was a little bit better. The AI was actually very difficult in this year's game. The career again was pretty good. But customization and track editor were equally bad from the year before. And the compound wasn't very good. It just wasn't very good. It might have been, in my opinion, the worst compound we've gotten. The tracks, the Supercross tracks were terrible. They were awful. So, yeah, I mean, this was the newest game, and it feels like we're still going backwards from where we started out in the beginning with the first game. So yeah, Supercross 5 could have been a bit higher maybe, but we're going to put it at number 5 on this list. Supercross 2 comes in at number 4 on my list. Some people would put it higher and probably are a little bit disappointed I don't have it higher on my list, but the game was good. It was good. In my opinion, it did pretty much everything good, but nothing great. The track editor was good. Very similar to the first track editor we ever got. So one of the better track editors we have in any Supercross game. The customization was pretty good, better than what it's been lately with the newer games. The career was actually really good. It was better than what we had in Supercross 1. They added a bunch of challenges and training and rivalry races, and kind of like you had the race on the weekend, but you had to do training and stuff during the week. You had skills to get and level up your rider. It was pretty immersive and just a lot better than what it had been in the past, even with the past MXGP games. So career was really good. The compound was pretty awesome. They gave us a Ryan Dungey kind of replica designed motocross track with where it was kind of put in a cornfield. The tracks at the compound were pretty good. The AI was okay. Not the best AI in the world, but okay. The physics were very similar to the way the first one was, but a little bit heavier, a little bit... not my favorite. They were okay. I think they did some good, but I still preferred the way Supercross 1 controlled over this one, which is why this one gets put in 4th place, kind of middle of the road. It did everything really good, but nothing really great, besides maybe the career. Career was really good. Bike sounds were okay. Just, it was a fun game, and it could be a bit higher, but in my opinion, it's just kind of right in the middle of the road, sitting at number 4. Now, coming in at number 3 would be Supercross 6. I feel like there's probably a bunch of people that would definitely disagree with me, and that's perfectly fine. Put your list in the comments. We can discuss it. This game did a bunch not right, okay? The customization was not good. The track editor, they added one new feature which didn't matter whatsoever. The track editor, not good. The compound was actually pretty sweet. They tried doing something a bit different, and it was a really cool idea. I feel like they could have done it a little bit better, but it was still a really cool idea, and the compound was much better than it was in 4 and 5. The tracks were awesome. This was the first game we've gotten in the last 3 years where we actually had a normal season. So the tracks were really fun. The physics are basically the same, but they did make a few tiny adjustments to where I actually prefer the physics in this game over 4 and 5. Virtually the same, but the small adjustments, just, I enjoyed it more. I enjoyed the physics more in this game. The AI is really bad, maybe the worst we've ever seen in any game from Milestone. And the career, it's okay, but it's basically a copy and paste from the year before. The Futures races are exactly the same. So it has a bunch of stuff that isn't good, and you might be saying, well, why would you put it at 3? Because I love the tracks, the core gameplay, the physics, the slight changes to it, I do enjoy way more than I did in 4 and 5, and the core gameplay is just really fun to me. A bunch of other bad stuff, but take away from it what you will, the core gameplay is fun. The tracks are fun, they did a really good job with it, and they fit the 250 and the 450 really well. The 250 is fun in this game. I've played games where the 250 isn't that fun, and I feel like they found a pretty good balance between the two of them. So we also have the 2-strokes just in the game, similar to what we had in Supercross 5. So Supercross 6, controversial probably, but comes in at number 3 on my list. Number 2 would be Supercross 1. This is the same place I put it in my first ranking. This game could easily be number 1, and it probably is for a bunch of people. This was the first game they tried doing for Supercross. We came off of, I believe, MXGP3, and I wasn't really sure how their physics and whatnot would translate to Supercross, but they did a really good job. The game was really fun, the tracks were really fun, the physics were really fun for having the push the sticks together, pull them apart whip. This was probably the best version of that physics model in any Supercross game. Maybe not any Milestone game ever, but in any Supercross game. The customization was really good. The compound was pretty good, but it was paid for DLC. The career was okay, but it was similar to the way they do the career with MXGP games. They didn't add any of the extra stuff until they added that in Supercross 2. So career could have been a bit better, but for the first run, this game is awesome, and I feel like it still holds up today. You can pick this game up for pennies on the dollar, and it's really fun. There's a good flow. And again, for the way that Milestone likes to do the physics, this is one of the best versions of their games they've ever done. It's just fun. Not that easy to crash. Yeah, you can case into stuff and the whoops are still really easy, but overall, again, what it really comes down to, the reason I choose some of these games to be higher is because of how fun are the physics and how well done are the tracks. And for the most part, minus San Diego was a joke. It was a joke in this game. It was a joke in Supercross 2. Supercross 1 is awesome, and why it comes in at number 2 on this list. And coming in at number 1 would be Supercross 3. This game was freaking awesome. It did have some downsides to it, which we will talk about, but this game was new from the ground up. Yes, it had the same base model where you had to push the sticks together, pull them apart to do the whip, but they redid the game from the ground up. The physics were different. You had way more control of the bike and rider. You could actually move them around in the air more than you could do in 1 and 2. The track editor was okay, but this was the beginning of where the track editor was starting to become a disappointment. Customization was okay still. The compound was awesome. We got the compound with the factory test tracks in it. The compound was great. The career was okay. The AI, I don't remember the AI that much. They probably were just very middle of the road kind of. Yeah, again, career was okay. The tracks were, for the most part, really, really fun. The biggest downfall to this game was that it had the endo glitch in it. We have the whip corner glitch, the wheelie glitch, but this had the endo glitch. So if you were gonna case or come up short, you drop your front end, slam it into the ground, into the face of the next jump, and you got a speed boost. That was the biggest downfall to this game. But the changed physics model, the good tracks, it was just the most fun to play. It was the most fun to play. I have the most hours in this game. We ran an entire series on it. It was good. I mean, it could be better. There's things they could have done to make it better, but I was hoping that would have happened in Supercross 4, 5, and 6, and it just really didn't happen. It feels like they went backwards, and the game just hasn't progressed from Supercross 3. This game is the pinnacle of Supercross games, in my opinion. You could switch out 1 and 2, and we just haven't really gotten that close since then, in my opinion. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. How would you rate them? What is your ranking? What do you think of my list? You're probably unhappy with Supercross 6, but that's fine. That's why it's an opinion, and I'd be curious to see what you guys think. But you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.